Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to learn about loops, majorly for loops and while loops. So let's start with for loops. So for loops, the basic iteration is you want to see the basic iteration is for is iterator. Just choose the iterator in the range. Range can be anything. And then we write the statements. For example, whatever statements we want to write, and then we end the loop. Now the iterator is something that is available within any object which we are iterating. So for example, let's see our first example. If we want to see, let us go ahead and see what we can do here. For example, I in 1 to 3. I'll take small I. So if you see here, like this is an iterator, this is a range, and I is the iterator. So what is happening here is that, for example, if I can put this an iteration object, map it to something kind of an, uh, let's see, it is a, for example, box, and my drawing skills are not that of painter. So in Julia, everything starts with, for example, 1. In Julia, everything starts with 1. So this are the 2, 3. So this is our range function. Now what happens is that I starts first with. So I first starts with 1. It goes to 1, and then it will print. Then this statement executes println I. Then again this loop hasn't ended. So it again goes to 2, and it says that, let me just make it more small. Okay, and then again I will go back to this 3, and then it will print the third position. So we can see that this I for loop, it does that it has an iterator. We can, instead of I, we can use anything like X or something, and then that becomes the iterator, and that traverses to the range, like it goes one by one in each range. So for example, let's see another. If instead of I, if I try to use, now it's the same, like 1 2 3. So in X as well. So in X as well, like every time the iterator goes, and it will try to, like, it will go ahead and pick up that iterator. So let us, until and as it reaches the end. So here also what it will happen is that it will be using 1 2 and then 3. Now what will happen is that X will first pick up the value from this. X will go ahead and it will pick up the value 1, and then it will go to this statement. It will, whatever, like we want to do whatever thing, it will perform those operation, and then it will again, it will see that it hasn't reached the end. Then it will go to 2, and then at the last it will go to 3. This is how it happens. And instead of, like, for example, instead of like printing, we can do any other operation. So for example, if we want to do for X in, I will choose I is standard, like developers use I. So instead of I, we can do z equals to, we are performing statements I into 2. We can directly write the z, but so I will just write z and then use the space so that number. So you can see what has happened is here is that it has performed the operation. It has first gone through the one and then it has executed this statement, then this statement, and then it will go back to 2, then 3. So this is a standard way to write a range in Julia. So I'm highlighting this. In this way we can write the any range. Now let's see like what are the other ways, like whenever we write range, so the ideal is, for example, we want to write the range uh, in Julia. So it is the first is the start, then second is step, and then the third is end. Now here if we see, like we have 1 as a start, so I will point 1 as a start and 3 as an end. So I'll remove this one. But we don't have anything as step. The reason is that we haven't added it. So if we haven't used step, then Julia automatically takes 1 as a step and then it traverses in 1, 2, 3 if we don't specify it. So let's take another example. We will take another example. Mm, For example, with step. So what we can do, first of all, let's play with the steps. So I'll again write some steps. So I'll just write 10 and then minus. Let me take it simple first. So 1, 2, and then 10. So in this case, we can see this is the start, and 1 is the start. 2, okay, 1 second. I cannot have. Okay, this can become confusing. 1 second. I'm trying this software first time and it is pretty good. So I would like to upload this software. Let me just share this one. Mm, Maybe you guys can also use it. So it is, I think, Screen Marker. It's available freely on Windows. So I am using Windows. Mm, I have Windows. So this is the software which you can use, and this is pretty good at what I'm doing. So if you want to do it by yourself. So yeah, let's go back to our this one. One is start, then this is step, and then this is end. So by default it takes n minus 1 as so if you see here I have given this as 10, but it takes us 9. So I believe it is n minus 1. So let us use another one. For example, if I write 1 to 10, it is 1 to 10 itself, but if I use step, sorry, 1 to 11, okay, I'll delete this one. It is the range. If I use 1 to 2 to 11, it's same. So let's see how it prints. So what I will do for I in 1 and step is 2 and then print. So print, and I will use space I and then to print in one line. So 13579. So it has given us the last ending point. The reason is that it starts with 1. So ideally it will end at 9. So it has already given us the 9. So hence it is like this 1, and then it has given the last, like till when it can traverse. And for 11, I think it can write till 11. So hence it has put the starting point as 11. So my bad, it is not n-1, it is just directly like Julia is interpreting it and updating it when as soon as we enter the step. So this is good. Let's use some negative integers. For example, for I in negative step, and then I will traverse to -10. I can do for 0 first, and then you can see. And let's see, it goes back in a reverse order, like decrementing 10, 8, 6. So you can just use as a counter. So when the step ends, you can just print boom. We'll check that in while loop. So now we can use, for example, you can also print it for till -10 as well, and it will print it in the similar way, like 0 to -10 in the reverse order. And other than that, we can do is that, for example, yeah, I wanted to show this thing. So what happens if we do for I in 10, -2, and 20, then print I. So what happens? So it doesn't print anything. The reason is that when the start point is, for example, 10. So if the start is 10, let me write it, start, and then it is 10. Let's see how we can go ahead. End is 20, and we are using step as -20. So I will use -20. So let me add here colon. Okay, you guys can understand it. So step is -20. So what have -2, sorry. -2. Now what happens is that from 10 to 20, it is in a, like for example, it is going in forward direction, and we're asking it to go in reverse direction, which is not possible. Hence it is not printing it. So if we have asked till 10 to 10 0, then it should have gone -2, but -2 doesn't fall for 20 because end is like greater than start. So in this we should keep in mind. Now other than this, I have another, like there are something break and continue statements which we should understand. For example, sometimes you don't want to run like in loops all the range. So like here I just want to print till 5. I don't want to like iterate it over again and again. So what I can do, print I equals to print I, and then this field. So here I can do if I equals to 5, then break this loop. And so this is how we can break the loop. So if you want to like we have to break the loop, and in sometimes it might happen. So you could be like, for example, I can give you some simple example is that you are downloading lot of files from web and you want to test it, all those files, only couple of files. So you can use this like iterator break. So you have tons of files and you want to just write the pseudo code of first 10 files, test it. So you can just use this kind of mechanism. I'm giving only example. There are like varied of possibilities to use break. Another is continue. So continue break is like it will break the loop. It will not proceed further. So here what has happened is that, so if I want to, like if we have to show, so what I will go here again, this. Okay, so one of my example lines are broken, but I am sure you guys can understand it since you are learning software. Now I would just do till 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Now just write, this is kind of, we can assume like all of our numbers exist in this range, and this is an iterative. So what happens is that I first goes to I first goes in one, and then it prints this guy, and then it again goes to second one, then third one. It is printing, so it is checking like I equals to 5. No, then it goes to fourth. It checks like 4 is there. No, then it goes to 5, and once it has printed 5, then it checks, yeah, the here like I equals to, then it breaks the loop. See, once it sees the break command, so I'll just highlight it properly. So when it sees this break command, it just terminates from the loop. Now let's see the for example, let's see the continue statement. So break is a statement. We will also see the it's not a command, it's a statement. For I in 1 to 10, print I. Now we want to print only odd numbers. So if I mod of 2 equals to 0, I mod of 2 is something, if the number is completely divisible by 2, this one. So I'll do continue. Okay, second, this should be so, and else we can print I and then this statement. Okay, now let's see what happens. So if you see here, it has only printed the odd number. So why this is happening? So once again, just let us go through the stack and just erase it. So let's see, first I goes to 1, and if we see, then it executes this statement if I mod of 2 is 0 or not. So let's see what happens if I do 1 mod of 2. The answer is 1, so it is not equals to 0. So it will not continue, it will not enter this if statement, and then hence it will print this one. Yes, it will print this I. It will not continue. Now let us again go to, oh no, so okay, by mistakenly I pressed the wrong button. So now if we see, now I will go to 1, so it just executes. But when it goes to 2, so when it goes to 2, 2 mod of 2 equals to 0. So it enters this, it enters this continue statement. So I'll highlight this with red. It enters this continue statement. So it will check if more, After entering this, it will check 2 mod of 2 equals to 0 or not. So which is 0, and hence this continue statement will occur, and it will like not, it will continue. Continue will directly put the iterator back to original. So now it will go back after once continue is there. Once it reaches a continue statement, the loops go back to the iterator. Okay, we need something which can also bend. Okay, so this is what happens once it goes to continue, then it goes back to iterator. Now it will check for 3. Now this I will go to 3. Hope you are able to read this. Now this I will go to 3, and then if I mod of 3 is not equals to 0, and hence it will 3 mod of 2 equals to 0, which is false. So hence it will not enter in the if loop statement. If loop only executes like if, then it succeeds. So hence it will therefore print the print type. Now this will again happen with 4, 5, and this one. So you have understood. Now if you just want to, like for example, execute only, if you just want to execute only, if you just want to execute only the, if you just want to run, like for example, print even numbers. So if I mod of 2 equals to 0, then we're telling I. So we don't need this in this case. So we can just do this way also. We don't need to do continue or something. So I have used that continue statement just to show. So this is also possible. We just print. So here you can print only, like for example, if I not equals to 0, then you can do this as well. So this is also one technique to print the number. Cool. So we have gone with for loop. Now we will go for nested for loop. So in nested for loop, for example, there are two ways like to do it. So for I in 1, 2, 3, so this is 1. Then again we have 1j in 1, 2, 3. So we are just printing, like for example, what happens here in nested for loop when we have multiple for loops inside. So as you can see, this is a nested for loop. So first is this one, and second is this one. So these two for loop become the nested for loop. So first, what happens is that how this traverses is very interesting to understand. So I'll again draw a frame. Okay, this will take time. How much it is? Okay, it is still 3 only. Okay, I could have done very slow. 3, my bad. Cool. Now 1, 2, 3. So this is I and this is j. Now what happens to this iterator? This is ij. So since I is at the top, so what it will happen, it will run first. This will execute. So it will get the first. So it will go to first one, and it will, like for example, I will take up the one from the range, and then it will go with first, then it will go with second, and then it will go with third. So once this finishes, like it will go to j, and if you see here in j also it is 1 2 3. So j will run 3 times, every time it will run 3 times. So this is need to be understood. So this will run, for example, 3 times on each run. Okay, so first I has got, then it will run this way. I will go to each, and j will execute 3 times with all the I. So hence it we are getting 1 1 1 2 and 1 3. So then after that 2 will go, and 2 will execute each time for this 3, and then once this is done, then 3 will go. Okay, this arrows don't like convert, which is good. So it will execute once all the 3, so you can understand. I'll not do this thing. Okay, let me just, yeah, this is working now. You can understand now. So this is how it will execute. So 3 times 3 1 2 3, it will execute. Now we can also write this in one of the simplest way. So which is, if you want to write for I in 1 2 3 and space comma j in 1 2 3, and then if we do show I comma j. So this also has the same effect, but I would suggest to go with the previous version. It is quite readable unless you are acquainted with Julia. So I haven't seen this kind of thing in Python. So yeah, so let's see if you are writing only for Julia and it works then. So another thing is that let's go with some more example with break and continue in this case. There are multiple ways to write. Another is like in Julia for I, and then you can use this in command, and then j in. So instead of writing directly in, and then show I comma j. By the way, show is the one which shows the variable. So you can see like I and j here. Show is very handy command when you are trying to debug, and if you instead of println you can do this. So mm, let's also see, for example, break in this I in 1 2 3, and for j in 1 2 3, and if j is equal to 3, then let's break it. Does this work? Yep. So if you see here, what we have done is that whenever j equals to 3, we are breaking this loop. So, and again the iteration is going back to I. So that's the thing. So whenever this break occurs, then iteration goes back to I. So this is how like it is working. So we have seen multiple ways to run the for loop, break and continue. Let us run one more example. For example, we can perform the sum. For example, I in, if we want to perform the sum of first 100 numbers. So I have initialized the variable sum. We should not initialize the sum variable because sum is the reserved keyword. So let me use something total equals to 0 for I, and let's use in 1 to 100. Then what we'll do, total plus equals to I. Okay, so if we print total now, it is 5050. So I, this total plus equals to I is nothing plus total equals to total plus I. So if you are not aware of this convention, I'm getting this because in Julia this for loop I is under this local variable only, so it is not in the global variable, the shell. Hence we are getting I is not defined but total is defined. So this is how like we can use the sum operation. And another one is for I in, like for example, hello world. We can also iterate over the string print and show I. So you can see like every time I is iterating over each of the strings. So here like instead of numbers, so it is iterating over the strings. This is how like we have seen. Now another, like we'll go with while loops. So for while, the statement is like, for example, while, and we have expression, and inside that expression, like use statement we want to run, and this is the end command. So one thing is that while is in small. I have just tried wrote as caps, but a while command is in small. So this expression is kind of a Boolean expression. So this has to evaluate to true. If this is not true, then while loop will end. So this expression has to execute to true. So Boolean means, like for example, so if it has to work, for example, 2 I equals to, so if I put x equals to 2, then x equals to 2, this true. So every time this expression should evaluate to true. So if the expression is not evaluating to true, then it will not work. So let's see. So what we'll do, we'll put like for example x equals to 10, and we'll print the first 10 numbers. So while x is greater than 0, so we'll do at the rate show x, and we just decrement the value. So it is not, and it is x. Let's see, 10 9 8 7 1. So we can see here x has gone through like until it was 0, it has executed, and after that it hasn't executed. So what will happen if we don't do x minus 1? So let's see, while now x could have gone to 0. So let us do x equals to so we'll do like for example x equals to 10 again, while x is greater than 10 0 at the rate show I. Okay, it is not I. So if you see, it has gone into infinite loop. So this is how like what happens like if we don't do or if we are not cautious in while loop. So in while loop, we have to make something to like we have to put the statement which will make the statement false. So I have which will make this statement false. We have to put some statement to make this false. So till now x is 10 only, so it will execute infinitely. So x is 10 only. So we have to perform some statement so that whenever our purpose is resolved, this while loop should end. Okay. Now we can also write like while true. I will give another example. Okay. So in this case, what is happening here is that we are saying while true, so it will always execute and it will have this. We will have this prompt, and read line is a command like where we want the input from the user, and it will print line. Unless the line is done, it will break. So this is how break X works in while loop. So if you can see here, hello, how are you? Which date? So it is continuously entering. So you can see here while true is like we can end the loop with break as well. So there are two ways. One is to break and another is to make this false. So we can also do like, but we cannot make this false because this true is a boolean property of Julia. So hence we will not be able to make this false. So what is happening here is that this has executed. Okay, so I need to make it small. So this is executed, and then this statement we have got from print, and then then this read line statement is executed. So this read line we are printing hello, and then this print line is executing because we haven't we haven't uh, done it done. So that's the thing. So now what we will do, we will we'll write done. So line is not equal to done. So let me just highlight this line is not equal. We haven't used done thing, so hence it is not executed. Now what we'll do, we'll just enter the done. So if you see, as soon as we entered done, so what happened was that, so as soon as we entered this done, so what happened was that this checked this statement. So it read the line and then it checked this statement. Okay, done is done. So then hence it that this break statement occurred and executed we exited from the loop. So let us run this one more time. So I'll just remove the required. So we'll again run the loop. What happens if we put like caps done? No, because it only needs small done. So Julia is case sensitive. So hence like we need this done only. Cool. Another like we can do is that we can do with like while loop is I is whenever I is less than 5, then show I. This is another example. Do I equals to 1. So what has happened is that we have no I variable, so we have to initialize I variable. So let's see what has happened is that first I was 1, and then like it showed the I when it entered the loop, it checked I is here I is 1, so we can put it one more time this way. It has executed total 5 times. So at the first statement, like here, um, I equals to 1, and hence I 1 is, when we do this, 1 is greater than or equal to 5, which is false. Hence what it will do, show I, like it will print that. Then here it will execute I plus 1. After doing this, just let me increment the I to the 2. Now in once it has incremented the I to 2, once it has incremented the I to 2, then what will happen? It will again go back to while loop, and then it will, here I's value will be 2. So here I equals to 2, then I is smaller than or equal to 5, which is false, and again it will show to the I. And at the last, when I reaches 5, like after 3, so when I is equal to 5, okay, this is also true, because I equals to 5 is is there, so it will execute. But when I goes to 6, I equals to 6, then I is not equal to 5, or I is not able to, my bad, it is 6. So here, like, the statement becomes invalid. 6 is less than or equal to 5. So use a different color. 6 is less than or equal to 5. This statement is like true, and then this statement is false, and hence the loop exits. So yeah, after speaking for so long, I got confused. So this statements are true. Okay, my bad. So these statements are true. Okay. If I equals to 1, then it will be true, because it is less than or equal to 5. I equals to 2, then it will be true, and hence we will get show I. So my bad. So I got it was okay. So this is how we can execute. There are multiple examples of while loop. So if you can comment on the, if you can comment on the screen, then like comment, and I can share you multiple while examples. So in the meanwhile, I think this is good um, for us. So if you want to go with one more example, I can just take small time, so we can do the, I think we have already saw like sum of numbers, so we will not do sum of a square of number. So we can do the factorial. So here what we can do, so if we want to find the factorial of 6, so I can take number equals to 6. Now I'll factorial starts from 1, for example. We have to, so for 6 factorial, it is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into, so we just need to do this way. So 720 should be the factorial. So if number equals to 0, I think this is, yeah, we can do. If number equals to 0, then we can print I, println 1. Yeah, because we are not returning here, it is not. Else what we can do, while number is greater than or equal to 1, we can just do factorial. Fact equals to fact into num. So here the number is 6 and we can decrease the number. Then print ln fact once the loop has ended. Let's see. So it is 720. So here what is happening is that when you're finding, so we have handled this special case a number equal to 0, but yeah, it will not reach. Still we have done this. So it's simple. So while num is greater than or equal to 1, so 6, we started with num as initial value of 6. Now 6 is greater than 1, so what we'll do, 6 into fact is 1. So if you see factorial is 1, so factorial equals to 1 into 6. Now here we have decremented the value where it will become 5, and then again it will go here. So it will check 5 is here, 5 is greater than 1, so it is not. Then 5 into, like, factorial was 6 and here factorial value is 6, then 6 into 5. So this how it will happen till we get the 720 value. So I think you can just use the show. So if you want to debug, let's debug with show command. Okay, it doesn't happen like this. So before decrementing, what I'll do, @show fact comma num. Yeah. Okay, so we have, so num value has become 0. The reason being that num is a global variable, so we'll reinitialize it to 6. So if you see, wow, this is good. Can you understand why this has happened? The reason is that we haven't, fact is also a global variable, so we have to reinitialize this to 1, and num now might have become 0, so we'll have to reinitialize this to 6. Let's see now. So yeah, this is good. So what happened was that, so if you see, first num was 6, and then what happened is that fact was 1. So what we did was that fact into num, 6 into 1, 6 came here, and then in the second case we multiplied the factorial here to 6 into 5, which is 30. So this is how it has become. So, or I can put the show at different places, which should be good before and executing. So I can do @show num. Show fact. Now we will initialize it. So if you see, now this is something good. So first fact is 1, so what we have initialized, then num is 6. So after this, what has happened is that fact has become 6 in the second loop, and num is 5. In the third loop we have seen 40, and then it is like iterating over itself. So yeah, this is how we can implement factorial using while loop. You guys can try to do the Fibonacci series in while loop. Maybe I can discuss in some extra lectures about this Fibonacci series using while. Till then, bye. Thank you. Have a great day.